I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. We have a new fiscal year and we have a shutdown. Katie says complicated. That's right. That's right.
Let's hope after tonight's vote we don't have a shutdown, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We have to be optimistic here, right?
There you go, Nikita.
I'm optimistic that it's going to continue.
What were the new predictions? The last one I heard was we'd be lucky if it was resolved by Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness!
So
I'm hearing that.
So what I'm hearing from a lot of different sources that it's likely to be over next Monday or next weekend.
What?
After the No Kings protest.
Okay.
So there's apparently another big No Kings protest next weekend.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying that the Democrats will fold after that. But that was their line in the sand that they wanted to get to.
That's a
was it that they want to go to the protest and then show up to work?
Well, yeah, just that they held on. I think they wanted to be able to quote unquote hold their head high or something at the protest or something.
I don't know, man. I haven't heard that, but we'll take it. We'll take whatever, whatever it is. All right, we're gonna get cooking. Welcome everybody. What just happened? We just had Q4 use it or lose it spending with billions of dollars going. Did anybody win any contracts at the end of the fiscal year? Nikita, did you win any?
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh, fantastic!
Awesome.
That is great. Anybody else here? Thumbs up if you did. Brian Hebel says his one word is unsettling. All right.
Matthew says he's completely new here.
It's good work. What's that? What'd you say there?
Matthew says he's completely new here, so we got a couple new people with Marjorie and Matthew and.
Ooh, Katie just got their first award.
Jackie, if I butchered that, I apologize. Katie, awesome on your first award.
Awesome.
Lauren, welcome.
Yeah, well, I love it. All right, so what just happened Q4? Now what? It all starts over again, sort of. Right, Rafa? Kind of.
That's right.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna pop open these polls. Let's get to know each other. How long you been in business? Maybe you just started yesterday, or maybe you're 20 years plus, or maybe you're sandwiched somewhere in between. And then we have an additional question today. Do you have federal business, yes or no? And are you affected by the shutdown? Because if you are affected by the shutdown, one of the things that we want to do is be able to point you directly, without any delay, to a gentleman named Peter Timbus, who happens to be here from TFN. Because if you're affected by the shutdown, chances are that deals with some dollars and cents, right? Right, Peter?
Absolutely.
So tell everybody what you do real quick, because you actually fund to the potential of the contract, right?
Yeah. Well, number one, we deal with companies of any size, whether you're brand new or you're 20 years old, if you've got zero revenues or $100 million of revenue. And we lend to the opportunity. So when we establish our lines of credit, it's going to be based upon not only what you currently have, but contracts awards, which is a huge difference from the traditional lending community, because they're going to look at your existing block of business, and that's how you're going to set your lines of credit up.
Yep.
In addition to that, when you're bidding on a contract, we'll give you a letter of financial support to help you in your bid and winning that contract. So it's very progressive and very aggressive financing. We've got 35 years of history that proves our success rate.
Yep. And I highly recommend, if you're affected, that we have 45% of the people that are affected by the shutdown with contracts that you have, reach out to Peter, at least talk with him so that you can have your funding in place. I want to make sure we got that out of the way first. Because
let me say one other thing, David, is that we haven't seen any difference in the payment schedule yet, because we're still dealing with September's work, with the government paying the September's work. We will continue to fund our clients regardless of how long the shutdown goes. Companies that are with traditional lending sources are going to be in an issue if this gets into November, because the older invoices are going to be kicked out, because in a borrowing base At the bank, they only fund against invoice 90 days or less. We will continue to fund invoices that are beyond 90 days. Huge difference.
I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. That's why I said, that's why you're here, buddy. That's why you're here. That's why I called you out. All right, hot seat questions of the day. What happens when a government shutdown occurs, right? So the government is shut down. We're going to talk about that. What does it mean? So we're going to throw that out. And then what would be happening if the government didn't shut down right now? And finally, how can we leverage this shutdown? We got a bunch of experts here today that I'll introduce as we go through. Quick disclaimer for everybody in industry. We're not affiliated with any government agency, even if some of us were with a government agency, right, Brian Hebel?
Yep.
So, but he doesn't speak for any agency, although he should, just saying. Participation does not guarantee an award, just letting you know. And if we have any govies here, let us know. Raise your hand so we can introduce you. We love this. It's also voluntary for you, and you can engage with us. This came from GSA, ladies and gentlemen. It does, because it's not an endorsement or commitment to purchase from any vendor that is here. We got a bunch of vendors here, and this session is being recorded, and we don't allow AI. So don't even try it, because we're real freaking human beings, right, Denise B. Lawrence?
That's right.
That's right. If you have questions, raise your hand, pop it in the Q&A, put it in the chat. We'll try to pay attention. If you like what we say, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like what we say, throw something at us. I don't know what you can do in there. I shouldn't ask for that sometimes, right, Brian? They could be dropping doo-doo on us or something.
I was thinking about, not breaking your computer screen, but yeah.
There you go. There you go. All right, I promise we will connect you with experts. We'll be discussing what works. We'll have shameless plugs, right, Todd?
Never
Shameless. always shameless plugs for our sponsors and our partners who are here. You know why? Because we can't do this alone. We got to help each other while we're doing it. So let's take a look at the chat. Anybody got any questions in the chat? If you do, we're going to pop that
Dave,
in.
we got an awesome comment.
What's that?
Instead of throwing something at it, door dashing 50-pound bags of manure to your front door.
Hey, Michael, that sounds like a plan. I like that. DoorDash. Man, I can't get DoorDash out here where I live.
Where do you live?
It's a travesty. All right, in the session docs, click that top link and let me know if this works for you to get to these documents. Thumbs up if you can get to these documents, because every once in a while Zoom throws the curveball. We'll make sure we get you what you got there. We'll make sure everybody gets there. All right, and if you just got in here, they're awesome, fantastic. Let us know what you got there. All right, in the session doc, we have the session docs. We have fiscal year 2025. We actually have the spending report, preliminary year-end spending report in there now. We also have 2024, which gives you an idea of what's happening between 2024 and 2025. We did from October 1st through September 30th. That would be fiscal year 2025, and we did both before the whole year as well as going from since January 20th when Trump took over. Just to give you a high-level overview of this so you guys know what you're looking at if you're new here, this is all based on two different systems, fpds.gov and sam.gov. For those of you who don't know me, I do a little bit of work in fpds.gov, right, Brian?
A lot of work. A lot of work.
Yeah, just a tad. And sam.gov, which I will shamelessly plug what I'm doing at 1 p.m. today, if you want to learn more about sam.gov. But I want to talk about this relative to the number of offers received, because this is what will blow your mind. It blew my mind in 2009 when I started looking at it. This is 2024 spending, because we still don't know the finalization for 2025, but I'll show you what's happened since the 20th in just a minute. 81% of the contracts, 60% of the dollars, no competition. Let that sink in for just a minute. 81% of the contracts, 60% of the dollars, only had one offer received. Now, people might say, what does not reported mean, Dave? Brian, what does not reported mean as a former contracting officer?
Well, it probably means it was one.
And that's
So
why,
they think it
right.
only had one. I don't have to report it. So
yep,
some cases it could be more, but just about all cases, it's probably going to be one.
yep. And that's what we found. And this is what was unprecedented in 2024. Let's look at this. How about this? 5 or fewer. How many of us would like to be one of 5 competitors when we bid? Thumbs up, everybody?
I'm done.
That should be every freaking body. That's right. Everybody. 90% of the contracts, 93% of the dollars shortlisted. That's where we want to be. And again, this is unprecedented. And if we take a look at this number, compare it to what hits SAM.gov, 98% do not hit SAM.gov. And you might be thinking to yourself, but Trump took over on January 20th. Right, Rafael Marrero? That's what I heard, anyway.
Yeah.
Did that really happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. All right, so let's take a look at this. Since then, 3.6 million contracts did not hit. 87%, so 78% of the contracts, pretty close to 81%, 60% of the dollars standard, 87% of the contracts, and 93% of the dollars. That's where we are with the same types of things. Now, I got a question. I'm going to end this poll. I'm going to start another poll, and that poll is, I have to type it in real quick. Did you know about the 98% that were hidden? Did you know about the missing contracts? Did you know about the ones that weren't hitting SAM.gov? And maybe you did know, and you say, oh, but I want some. Or maybe you knew that something was missing, but you didn't know it was 98%. Or maybe this is the first time you're hearing about it, which we welcome you to the party. Or maybe you don't believe what I'm saying. And you want to see, and maybe there's still somebody out there that doesn't believe, Denise B. Lawrence.
Right.
Maybe. All right, and so this is a shameless plug and pitch for Sam Radar because we want you to see. See this shirt? The shirt says Sam Radar. That's what it says. That's because we built Sam Radar because competing for this, and this is what we're talking about from here on out, from October through August. We're talking about competing for hidden contracts, and it's all about planting and cultivating. Right, Nora Bashore? It's all about planting and cultivating. That's what the play is. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Plant
That's
and
what we
grow.
do. So let me ask you this, Nora. When's the best time to plant a tree?
Right now. No matter what's going on, right now.
Well, the best time would have been 5 years ago.
Oh, all right. You got me there.
The second best time is right now.
Okay. I got part of the answer.
Threw a curveball. She didn't know that she could time travel today, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
didn't know that.
So from October to August, here's what we want to do. We want to watch the activity. We know that the activity is a little bit down right now. We're going to talk about that. But that way we can engage these stakeholders so we can do what? Build relationships. Why do we build relationships, Todd J. Crane?
Because people buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Yep,
right.
yep.
And not only that, but we want to get our fingerprints all over these contracts, right?
That's right.
Because your competitors are definitely getting their fingerprints on them.
Yep, this right here, this influence is talking about fingerprints. That's right. Your competitors are, the incumbents are. The incumbents are in there right now. Just like Nikita is. She's an incumbent who's in there right now.
In fact, they might have even written the entire solicitation.
What? That's not fair.
Called it a draft.
That's not fair. You know.
Well, that's why you got to get them to know, like, and trust you.
That's right. All
Could
right,
have come up with the government estimate by calling it a ROM.
Ooh, what's that? What's a ROM, Brian Hebel?
A rough order of magnitude.
Order of magnitude, baby. And this is how we do it. We watch it real time. We do activity monitoring. We say, hey, we want to see it all. And we will, I tell you what, you do this. And guess what? Even though the government's shut down, Sam Radar is still going to guarantee, 100%, guarantee that you will win if you use it. Because when we get to September, which is not too far away, believe it or not, is it, Brian?
No.
The older we get, the faster September comes. That's all I know. So yeah, we will be talking about what does hit SAM.gov today, at the opportunity tutorial, and I will grab this right now if you would like to come. Let me just do this real quick. I'll post the session docs again for everybody, but
I wasn't able to get mine.
GovBrief. Who's that?
Rafa.
Rafa.
What are you doing there, Rafa?
Oh, no, I wasn't able to download the.
Oh,
I
you
wasn't
weren't?
doing.
Yeah, the session doc link is broke.
Oh, it worked for me.
Work for me too.
Just like government. Just like government.
Dave, I just put it in the chat for you.
You did what?
I put
Oh,
it in
thank
the
you.
chat.
Yeah, that's for that. And I also want to call up what's coming up next week, which is it next week? When is this, Sally? It's the 22nd.
That's next week.
Wait a second.
So Sally's
a
going
week
to be
and a day.
talking about leveraging LinkedIn. She's a LinkedIn expert. She's been talking about that. And then we also
Especially during the shutdown, because
Yeah.
as Dave mentioned, these folks are on LinkedIn. I've been talking to a lot of contract managers, program people, individuals. We'll talk more about that, but they're all looking at LinkedIn. Believe me.
Mhm.
So many reasons.
Yep, there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll also be talking about contract flow down clauses. If you have a federal contract or you're a sub on federal contracts, we do know that there's things that flow down, don't we, Todd J. Crane? You happen to be involved in one we just did last week, which is what?
CMMC.
Yep.
Which is a big one, especially if you're in the Department of War, formerly DoD space. But also it affects other people too. We've seen DOE, we've seen DOT, a couple other ones as well be affected by it, just because of how the agencies or the departments work together.
And you can go to govbrief.us and you can get that session, as well as the one for contract flowdown is a free session. It's sponsored by Clause Manager, and he's going to be sharing stories. One of his stories is really a great story of how he messed something up and just missed something, and it caused liquidated damages that were part of the contract flowdown that went right down through the subs. So join us for that if you'd like to. I will also be talking about how you can use GovBrief to be the subject matter expert in your space in 2026. We are reaching out. We're going to start marketing this heavily over the next couple of months because guess what? They need to know about you. And right now, we're planning this for next year. I do believe the government's going to open back up at some point. So we want to be ready to showcase what you do and your expertise to the government folks. That's procurement as well as the program managers. Very difficult to reach program managers and educate them because they just don't, there's nothing about it that looks and smells like anything else that's out there. You've got to be reaching out to them. The only way that I've found, I did it for myself. I built GovBrief for me so that I could get meetings with those federal folks. All right, let's get to the hot seat questions of the day. Can somebody? I'm gonna go to Brian Hebel first, since he's a former Govy. Brian, tell me what happens in a federal shutdown. What happens?
Well, I guess it's always a question about who's going to go home and who's not going to go home, right?
Yep.
And at least, I don't like the term essential because it's really bad for the people who
aren't
Are not essential.
who are not essential, in terms of what that means. But at least at the agency I worked in, which was the Medicare headquarters, a lot of it depended on the type of funding and the appropriation. So whether it was annual appropriation or 3-year or 5-year, made a big difference in who stayed and who didn't stay. In fact, like at my former agency now, there's programs got 5-year money on it. So, and the employees are even funded with the program. So the contractors are still working, the employees are still working. But other programs, the people are home, because it's annual appropriation and it hasn't been appropriated yet. So it just depends. At least my experience was based on the money, but it could be for other reasons beyond that. But that was the experience I had.
Yep. And so we've seen that, that employees are furloughed right now. We have a bunch of our friends that are furloughed, aren't we? Don't we, Brian?
Yeah. No, my son's furloughed at the agency where I used to work, and my daughter-in-law works there too, and she's not furloughed, just different funding. Yep.
So we find that it's a partial shutdown, right? So that's what we're up against right now. And Nikita, you had mentioned that you have you're currently still doing business, right?
Yes. Yes, we are.
And so
There's still contracts that we're responding to. There's still people we're reaching out to, talking to, dealing in the veterans space and the Indian Health Services space and the Federal Bureau of Prisons space for medications, pharmaceuticals, the waste for those pharmaceuticals and or just the medical staff. They don't shut that down. We've been told by IHS that because they are technically separate, but they're funded through government money, they're still all considered there. They're still being paid. And then the VA and the Federal Bureau of Prison, obviously, they have to provide those medical services. So they're all still functioning and the need's still there. So we're still getting our invoices paid because the funding's been approved already because they're not impacted. So.
Yeah, but that's and what I was saying before, that's why that term essential really drives me nuts because at least at my agency, you see air traffic controllers, you see on the news, the military, right, is essential. But I mean, I know people who are still working and it's only a subject of how the money was appropriated. It doesn't have anything to do with essential or non-essential. I know an economist who's still working, right? Like, why is he still working? Or my daughter-in-law, the program she's on. It's just 5-year money. It's not essential. It's research, from that standpoint.
The economy's got to keep going, Brian.
Say again?
The economy's got to keep going.
Oh, not if you're getting paid. If you're not getting paid, it's not doing too well.
That's right. No doubt. Hey, one of the things we do find is that not all the agencies are shut down, right, Sally White?
That's correct. I just put in the chat what you asked me to, and there's a list of agencies that are not shut down. Department of Defense, Postal Service, VA, et cetera, et cetera. There's a whole list of them. And so you can cross this list with Sam Radar and with some consulting work with Dave and the team to find out not only are the agencies that are not shut down, but those contract managers, individuals that you could reach out to.
I appreciate that.
And I'm going to say this as a shameless plug real quick. If you have Sam Radar, you can still see the activity that is going on right in your inbox.
Yes, you can.
It's all shut down, Nikita.
No, I keep watching my competitors. I keep watching all the different awards that are applicable, and it helps stay on top of it.
VA is on fire. It's like, good night, another VA opportunity.
And so Denise, tell us a little bit about what happens with grants at times like this.
Oh, we go through the same things that contracts do. Unfortunately, though, grants are not often considered essential unless you have received a really important research grant and you have funding already and you've done a drawdown last quarter, then you're rocking and rolling for at least another quarter. So it just depends on, the agency and the type of funding. So if it's research based, you're probably good for a little while. If you were smart and did a drawdown last quarter, which people are.
So there's a lot that can be done there. So for those of you who don't know Denise helps with for-profit grants. I didn't even know this was a thing. And she told me it was brand new, started in 1969 or something stupid, right?
Yeah, the 1960s. The law was in 1987, I think.
1987.
When they expanded the FAR and all of that good stuff. But yeah, they were doing SBIRs in the mid 60s. So it's been around a while and it's growing like crazy. And I have seen quite a few new things come out for DOD on grants. So it's still there.
That would be true. And I find that to be the case as well, is as we look at what's happening, I mean, like you said, Nikita, we do see activity and there's things that are still happening. And you did an bid and award protests thing that just this last week. And the reason being is that, hey, you got to be paying attention to what's hitting FPDS because you might miss it. And that'll definitely affect your ability to protest, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You have 72 hours to ask for a debrief. You have generally 5 days to actually file a protest. And if you're not on top of it, you miss it and you could potentially lose that overturn if you have grounds to overturn it. So I think you saved that in your page for review if anybody's interested. So. Yep.
There's a lot still going on. And I've always just tried to keep people's head kind of together. In fact, this next question that we have is, what would be happening if the government didn't shut down? Anybody want to tell me what would be happening right now if it didn't shut down? Go ahead, Nikita. What you got?
We would actually be giving the new fiscal year bids for things that are coming that are soon to be expired and or have expired as of the last fiscal year that weren't appropriated, or the backlog that could not get published last year, because there's always a backlog at the end of the year that doesn't get pushed. We would be seeing new requirements actually popping up this year, which is really exciting, which I've seen a couple of, and I'm excited to see how it moves forward. Is with GSA taking over the contracting piece on sam.gov, we're seeing the new changes, asking if they have a GSA mass, asking if they can fill out surveys, doing all of these pieces. We're going to see a lot more of that once the government opens back up. So I'm really excited for what's coming.
Yep, I agree that there's reason to be excited. If 9 times, well, not even 9 times out of 10, more than that, right, Brian? We don't have a budget to go off of anyway, do we usually?
No, not at this time.
No.
But I think depending on your agency, you're going to see some revised acquisition strategies going forward, like more GSA. As Nikita was saying, I think you're going to be seeing that more, but then you're going to be seeing more limited competitions potentially where they're not posting stuff on eBay and they're just going out to limited sources, and doing market research that way. I think you're going to see some other ways of doing it. I'm starting to see a lot of white paper requirements. If you go in and look at commercial solutions opening, CSO, if you type that in sam.gov or broad agency announcements, all of them are just asking for white papers, and the solicitations are staying open for 5 years. And if you got an innovative idea, you send that's in that lane, you send it to the agency, and they can pick you an award of contract just based on you submitting a white paper.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm saying that
that's
on
relatively new.
Yeah, that's it's kind of like OTA, but in the FAR realm is kind of what they've done. But if you want to have fun, go in and type in CSO, a commercial solutions opening, and look at how there are probably a dozen of them in September from a lot of DoD right now. But I think that's going to spill over into the civilian agencies where they'll be using some different acquisition strategies to get innovation. I'm a little excited, Dave, about where that might be going.
No doubt.
Actually.
I mean, we've seen, somebody mentioned before about the FAR changes, right? There's a lot of changes in the FAR. Some of that is really interesting. And I know, Brian, you and I have been working on one with CPARs for a while.
Yep.
So some of the impact there's going to. Really all the FAR changes are pretty much done. FAR 15 came out about a week and a half ago. And even with the FAR changes now, we'll see where it goes. But it looks like for CPARs, they're going to be using it more for market research. They remove the word source selection from the FAR so it can be used for potentially other sources, maybe even have some commercial organizations do some work for the government to accumulate your CPAR's information. We can be seeing, and it's also the way they want it to be used more for program management, and that would mean that they're going to be asking for self-assessments on a quarterly basis. Now, that's the FAR changes. Now the National Defense Authorization Act has some other changes to CPARs that actually is in disagreement with the FAR. So the FAR changes that just came out from the Office of Federal Procurement the Office of the Federal Procurement Council, and the people that were doing the FAR overhaul. So it's going to be interesting. But right now, the way the FAR reads, it's going to be a little bit more. You're going to be wanting to pay more attention to your CPARs than you have been in the future, even though you have been in the future. Hence, Dave, our CPARs Radar product that I'm just launching with Dave and as we speak about how to get the CPAR ratings you deserve. But more to come on that for sure. Yeah. So we've been working on that for 2 years because CPARs is just an odd process, wouldn't you say, Brian?
Well, you have to pay attention to it, right?
Yeah.
You can't wait till the government releases your CPAR and you say, "Oh crap, I didn't know it was going to be this bad." You got to be proactive.
You definitely don't want bad ones.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether or not because there's a couple of bills that are going through Congress, right? Right.
Well, a National Defense Authorization Act, they might just want to see a negative CPARs. So, but regardless of that, on the other side, on the far side, they might just use that for market research. And if you got a very good or exceptional, they might include you in 3 or 4 contractors that get the solicitation on GSA. If they don't, they're trying to make it easier for contracting officers to have that. I almost think like a Yelp score, or a TripAdvisor score where you just get a star score. So you really have to pay attention to it. And if you are satisfactory, you're in the bottom half of the nation, from that standpoint.
So
that's
not a good place to be.
Yeah.
Especially since they're starting to use those, like you said, they're using those for source selection now.
Yeah, market research. Well, they have been using them for source selection, but they actually took the word source selection out of the FAR intentionally. So
really?
It could be, so CPARs could be used for lots of other reasons beyond just source selection. That's
wild. Anybody else want to comment on what would be happening if the government didn't shut down? I'm leaning towards we'd be under a CR anyway, and the just all the activity pretty much dries up for a few months usually, right? That's what usually happens anyway. There may be some stuff that happens afterwards, but most of the time we're going under continuing resolution, which means they can spend what they had last year. That's what that means, right? Anybody want to comment on that?
No, but I think as this goes on longer, people have contracts with option periods early in a fiscal year, which we always try to avoid. That's where you could be getting into some of your problems, or if it's incrementally funded, if it was incrementally funded and they were expecting to get money by like the second month of the second week of the October.
Yeah.
So I think depending on a contractor's individual situation, or you're still performing, but your core's not there. Now, Nikita, you were saying your cores are still there, but some contractors might have contracts and their cores aren't there, and they were fixed price contracts. So.
Yeah, we were lucky. So right before the government actually shut down, David hosted a Monday roundtable, and he had said, if you have existing contracts, make sure today, because we think it's shutting down tomorrow, that you reach out to all your contracting officers and get the direction, get that guidance from them as far as whether they're going to be in the office, whether they're not going to be in the office, what you need to do if the government shuts down. And that was really super helpful for us because we found out we would continue without any issue. The other piece to that is we've seen several contract extensions in that 6-month gap past the 5s that they always write in there since the funding isn't there. So it's just something that, continuing resolution, if you want to call it that, or you just say that 6-month extension past that 5-year has been enacted right now. So some of those are getting bumped back now until next year.
So Dave, a trend that's I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, I just posted in the chat that right now OSSA is going on, and some of our friends, Jay, others are attending. I didn't attend this year. There's over 44,000 people attending. So one of the things that is trending is more people are attending conferences. Now, sometimes we don't see as many of the big booths with, Northrop Grumman and SAIC and those type groups, but people are going to conferences. And so whether you're attending a conference live or you want to do a virtual, it's a really great place to meet the right people to connect with those influencers and decision makers. So that, maybe if it wasn't shutting down, there'd be less people attending. I'm not trying to silver line anything, but there are some interesting trends that occur during this time, right?
Yep. We had even earlier, we had travel get schwacked by the Trump administration, which kept the govies from coming, and now they're probably not there.
They're booking on Southwest and Spirit now because they're all coming.
That's right. Get it. Make sure you get there. Love that. All right. So we would have a continuing resolution. It'd be a lull in the marketplace anyway. So if that's the case, no matter what, let's talk about how we can leverage this shutdown. And Rafa, I'm going to start with you because you do things for folks that I think are really important. No matter what, you want to make sure that you're ready to rock and roll, right? Right, Rafa?
Absolutely. Yep. We want to focus on procurement readiness and contract readiness. You want to be ready to engage. Take this downtime to look over your capability statement, your dynamic small business search, the new one. There's changes going on in the DSPS database. Make sure that your information was in fact populated correctly, you may want to conduct an audit of your profiles to see how you look on paper. Now's the time to do it. Combine the great feedback you're getting from individuals like Nikita and others on this call, and please take this opportunity to dust off your capabilities, make sure that you look your best on paper. Let's see, what was the last time you looked at your pitch deck to make sure that you're covering the key elements of information? Has your SAM profile been updated in a while? I mean, these are the things that I would use these as a chance to kind of check the oil on your car and give it a tune-up, so to speak, before you get back in there. It's important to be ready, because when they re-engage, you're not going to have this downtime. And what I find is a lot of people are actually taking advantage of this time. They're using it intelligently, Dave, and they're getting all of their materials worked over and worked up. And let me tell you something, it makes a big difference, big difference.
And I couldn't agree more. I think with what you do, especially, you should be doing this anyway in October. Yep. Kind of look at looking forward with the strategy, looking at what's happening, but your marketing, getting your marketing materials tightened up. Certainly your SAM registration, including your DSBS. Tell everybody what the DSBS is so they know.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity, right? It's called the Dynamic Small Business Search. It's the SBA's own internal database of approved vendors in SAM. In other words, you're registered in SAM, and they're the ones who can actually determine whether or not you're actually showing up as certified as a small business concern, whether it's a woman-owned small business, service-disabled veteran-owned small business, economically disadvantaged, women-owned small business, 8A or HUD zone. Any one of those categories that the SBA certifies will show up there in that database. It is important for your profile to be complete, for you to have a downloadable URL to your capability statement, and to make sure that your information tracks. Anything that seems off on your database or in your profile, you should be reporting to DSBS so that they can update it. Here's what happens, Dave. Some people get certified, right? And it takes a while for the government. Gee, I wonder, and that's hard to believe, but it takes a while for the government to get its act together, right?
You're kidding.
Between the time you get your letter of determination to when they refresh your profile, what happens is people say, yay, I can go ahead and bid on this deal, and I'm now a woman-owned small business or whatever, right? And the problem is it takes them a while sometimes to populate those fields in the database. They don't automatically populate. There are a lot of systems involved. So anyway, that's why you should be checking your data to make sure. Think of your DSBS profile as your credit report. If you were a business, right? It's your Dun & Bradstreet credit report. You should be looking at it to ensure that the information is accurate, that everything tracks, that you can actually download the capability statement from the URL, that your websites and email addresses are correct, and the telephone numbers listed actually point to someone on your team that's going to pick up the phone when they call. Right?
You mean somebody that's a human being might want to answer the phone? I can't.
Yeah, and here's the other thing.
You're so progressive, Rafa.
And here's another one, right? And this one goes out to my good man Brian Hebel. Right? Make sure that your NAICS codes are on there, right? Make sure that make sure that you have the NAICS code on there, because what happens is they're gonna write. Thank you.
For those of you who don't know why Rafa is just smacking Brian around.
What's a NAICS code?
Let me do this real quick, because I'm going to put up Brian's slide real quick, because I want you to see this.
It's hysterical.
So this is 34 years of federal service, 32 years as a contracting officer, and headed 3 divisions. Hold on a second. Now, we were on the Monday Roundtable, which for those of you who don't know what that is, if you're on SAM Radar, you're automatically included. So sign up for SAM Radar, because it's way too much fun for federal contracting. But besides that, Brian comes in one day, and I said, hey, Brian, how do you pick your NAICS code? And he says,
we just pick one.
And then my head started turning around like Linda Blair. And the Exorcist, right?
We would pick. I mean, I'm not at my desk, but I have the whole NAICS code book. I know we would know what NAICS codes are, but we didn't get really training on it and the importance of them to industry compared to how we think about them inside.
I want you
You know,
to,
when they're
everybody
changing.
think about this for a second that's here, because we have 82 people here and their heads are probably exploding, just like Raphael's did when that happened. But this is one of the reasons why it's so important to be meeting with contracting officers to understand how they go about doing their purchases. Because if
Hey,
they
Dave?
pick a NAICS code from the air, like Brian Hebel does,
Like,
and guess what?
This one.
Has anybody here, thumbs up if anybody here has ever seen a solicitation under a NAICS code it shouldn't have been under?
Yeah, and I mean they're important. They're important on the outside, but they're not really that important on the inside.
Yeah. So this, I want thumbs up. I want everybody to see.
Wow, that's a lot of thumbs.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks, and I want to explain this to some folks because we see this all the time, where we see contracting officers hide things in plain sight because they know of they know of a contractor they would like to have, and they have to put it out. So they'll put it out.
Dave, I just saw one the other day. My clients in Texas, right?
Yeah.
They're doing projects with Customs and Border Protection. Here's an example. They're a construction firm. They're doing work. They're bidding on work at the point of entry for Columbia point of entry to do all the infrastructure work there for that one point of entry in El Paso, right? So guess what? The wrong NAICS codes. Ryan, do you have any cousins in that division? The wrong NAICS codes.
I think my brother works there.
Yeah, there you go. Right. I knew it. I told him it was not Hebel, it's Hebel, right? So, anyway, so that's what happened. My clients could not, they were like, but wait a minute, this is concrete, this is that. Why is it showing up under this other NAICS code? It didn't make sense, Dave. And we were scratching our head, and then we said, the Bryan principle. I get it now, right? So we have a new law now. We have a new law called the Bryan principle. So,
that's right.
But it's hysterical, Dave, because as an economist, right? How do we classify economic activity, right? How does the Bureau of Labor Statistics, what does it go off of to determine, the spends and trends and employment and all that? They use NAICS codes. That's why this is so flippin' important, right?
So did you reach out? Did you reach out to the CO about changing it?
We did.
And what did they say?
We got
don't
a really
care.
nice song and dance. We wrote a song about it. Like to hear it. Here we go. That's what we got. Yep. But
Did they change?
Hey, we went on the record.
Did
No,
they change?
they haven't. Nope.
Because you can file protest on it too.
I was
That's
about
right,
to
but-
comment on that and say you can file a pre-award protest on a NAICS code if it's limiting the scope of people who can actually bid on it.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's right. Only in America, baby. Thank you. That's right. That's right.
Hey, Dave,
We
I
went on the
gotta go.
record.
All right, Brian, thanks for joining us,
See
man.
y'all.
Appreciate you.
Good seeing y'all.
Brian,
Bye, Brian.
take care.
Yeah.
All right,
Now that
I'm
I've been
gonna-
insulted, I am leaving. All good. Thanks. Happy hunting,
Love you,
all.
bro. Take care.
See
Bye.
you guys. All right, so I am going to ask this question: if you have your marketing ready, and number one, do you have your marketing ready? And if you're not sure, and most of us should probably pick not sure, just saying. And then do you if you have a professional marketing firm? And third, if you'd like to meet with Rafael Marrero, because he'll do it for how much, Rafa?
Free. My favorite four-letter word. We're going to meet. We can give you a 15-minute call. And Nikita, can you please? I mean,
I was going to say, can I please join in?
Please,
So
please.
I have done this multiple times with Rafa, and it blows my mind, and I learn something new every time. Even if you've done it in the past, get what's new in the market because it changes. Your needs change. Or you redid a capability statement and you left off something you didn't even realize you were leaving off. It's I have learned so much every time I do it. It's 15 minutes, it's free. And if you're nice enough to ask, hey, after we make these edits, could you just tell me yay or nay, is this good? He's willing to do that too. And it is worth it because it's 15 minutes free, and I would pay probably $500 for all the information I actually learned from him. So I'm sorry.
Typically charge that much, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I just have to add on. A lot of my clients use Dr. Marrero and his team, and I actually put my CAPE statement in. He did the most beautiful CAPE statement. It literally inspired my whole brand and helped me with my branding. And he is incredible.
Thank you.
He's amazing. He's brilliant, and he's just so gracious to help. So
Love it.
love him.
Yep.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate your your testimonials, and we do our best to offer value to our clients, right, before they pay $1. That's the whole idea there. We want to show them, and we want to be colleagues here. So, and the Monday roundtables, you get a lot of that as well. So participating in the webinars and then going to the Monday roundtables really, really pays off, because think of it as a support team, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a chamber of commerce. We're almost like a government chamber of commerce. It's like David Lowe's e-commerce, chamber of commerce. It's like an e-chamber, right, of GovCons, right? And it's cool because you get a roundtable of experts, and we all chip in to help you. It's not about just selling someone till it hurts. We really do help people.
Yeah, keep coming back. It works.
I need to add in this just because it's more than just capability statements, though. If you give him your UEI, you can get your capability statement looked at. You can get your marketing ideas looked at. You can get your website looked at. You can get your LinkedIn profile, which ties into what Sally does on October 22nd. She's doing her LinkedIn overview. He does all of that, and he'll give you suggestions based off of what market you're in. That was crucial to me, because our market is so niche that I need every benefit that I could possibly get. So.
Dave, I was like Brian Hebel, but in the private sector, right? For Fortune 500, we actually managed annually about $2 billion worth of contracts. And I was in charge of direct and indirect procurement for a very large Fortune 500 company. So my organization ran vendor management. We sourced, we managed, and we vetted all these vendors nationwide, right? Across the nation, and even in US territories, and even in LATAM. And so we know a thing or two about what to look for, because I sat on the other side of the table. So when I'm looking at a prospective vendor, I can tell you and give you like a 360 degree of how you look like on paper, how you would look like to a person like me if I'm buying your goods and services. So it's above and beyond capability statements. Like Nikita said, it's about procurement and contract readiness. And we have a proprietary method that I just filed for a patent on, by the way. So yes, I'll share the juicy details later, but we have a multi-pronged process that we use, which is really cool, Dave. I want to talk to you about that, because I need me some GovBriefs with that. So it's a new method. It's a new method. Yeah.
I love it. So, I want to talk about that. That's fantastic. So let us know if you want, if you'd like to have Rafa, if you missed out on that and you chose maybe in the future.
Hey, Rafa, could you repost your information?
Yep.
Yes, with pleasure. With pleasure. Yep. Thank you.
So we do want to get to some questions. If you have some questions, we'll pop some out there. But we're talking about how we can leverage this shutdown. And if you'd like to, we had a couple of comments I thought was really interesting. One of those was from Anita. Hang on a second, Anita. Let me see if I can call. Are you still here? Anita, I don't see Anita here. So she got an award from USDA. However, the contract was underbidded because we're not allowed to do a site visit until after the award. They provided a diagram now that we were awarded. My subcontractor is charging $356,000, and they initially bidded $65,000. So that creates a problem because they underbid. So that's one of the things that when you're doing your research, your contract research, and looking at your competitive landscape, right, Nikita, it's real important to be able to say, hey, what does this go for in other ways, right?
Mm-hmm. Keep on top of all of the published contracts. I like to keep within the last 3 years. That's my goal. I don't want to do anything COVID-wise because COVID really jacked up the rates on everything.
I don't know what you're talking about. What was COVID?
But I like to say keep everything relevant for the past 3 years. You do that through FPDS and other award searches that you can do. U.S. spending is another one that you can actually keep an eye on your competitors. And you see what they're doing, what your marketplace is, and you got to make sure that you're not only bidding relevant, but if you see someone underbidding, you can actually prove, hey, was this the best award? You reach out and you say, if you constantly see scope of work increases being published in FPDS, reach out to that contracting officer before the next award, typically about 90 days before it expires, and see if you can't get in there and have them not elect for an option year. The option year is 1 year. Initially, 1 year after, you have an in every time it comes up for renewal.
And Nikita, can you put your info in the chat? Nikita, I'll tell you, she's not a consultant like many of us.
Not yet.
However, we're always trying to have her move over to the dark side. However, I've never met anybody who knows more about this business by doing it. I mean, she's brilliant, she's gracious, she's helpful, and there's no information on her little slide, but
Nope.
Nikita put it in. I'm sure
Because
she's very careful with her time because she's busy selling, doing billions of dollars worth of business, helping.
Not billions yet, but we're definitely enjoying it. So
hey, you're doing millions.
yes.
And more energy than all of us combined. Okay? I'm just saying.
Without Cuban coffee. Without Cuban coffee. Right?
Hey, I'd take some though. I'll take some.
Right.
I love Cuban coffee.
That's why there isn't information on here, because Nikita is not a consultant. She's here because well, first of all, I'm trying to pull her in. As a consultant,
We'll get her, Dave.
yeah,
We need an extraction team, Dave.
she's already doing it. And what I love about Nikita is that she just brings the energy, just like everybody just said, and does it because she can, and it's helpful for everybody.
It's amazing.
And for those of you who
the way
got
that I like to say it, Dave, and I've said this to you multiple times, is I like other people to learn where I have failed, so that they don't make the same mistakes, and we share that. That's what I love about this platform, and I learn something every time I join. So it's not just me sharing what I know, but I learn something and I continue to grow. And this is a fostering learning environment between the Monday roundtables, between these exhibits, between even Sam Radar and Rob. I don't think he's on here, but I can't tell you how many times I've talked to Rob, who helps me through Sam Radar, just figuring out how to tweak, how to improve, how to do anything. And I'm a lifelong learner. I just am, and I love this. It just
I think that's a great segue. It's a selfish segue, but I'll take it, because one of the things you can do now is get together with Rob and tweak what you're doing. Take a look at what's happening in the market. Take a look at your competitive landscape. We have some new things that are coming in with Sam Radar shortly that he'll start to review. And the idea is, hey, there's going to be something that turns into gold. That's all I have to say about that. But check out samradar.com, get signed up. You can do that for free. Real quick today, I will be live today at 1 p.m. for the sam.gov tutorial. And I'm going to put in here where you can catch this on GovBrief. There's several in here that you want to take a look at. You can just go to govbrief.us and you'll find that. So do that at 1 p.m. We also have Sally on the 22nd, leveraging LinkedIn. She's going to be talking about that. She did that. It's been a while since you did that.
It has. And remember, LinkedIn's free. You just have to make sure your branding's great with Raphael, and that you do some research with ISI to know who you're connecting with, because how would we know who to connect with the contract managers unless we do Sam Radar?
Exactly.
And then we can roll, and you can connect with so many people. So excited to see you all there.
Yep. And then we have the contract flow down clauses. That one's free. Sign up for that. I tell you what, Reed is awesome. The guys at Clause Manager are awesome. They're actually a client of mine, and they have a product that has legs. I'm just saying, that's what's happening. All right, so for federal success right now, don't stop. Everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Thumbs up if you agree. Do not freaking stop.
No.
Because guess what? You're gonna have folks that through attrition. There's some of the folks that may not survive, right? Because they don't have the funding, right, Peter? They might not have the funding. And guess what? If they don't have the funding and they don't survive, you can slide in and take that work. Also, if they may decide they don't want to do business. We saw a bunch of that, right, Rafael Marrero?
That's
bunch
right.
Of that, folks. I cannot tell you how many emails I got that said, I'm not doing business with the orange felon. Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
So I'll take the business. I'll take
it. Right? And
I'm actually ginger, not orange.
A ginger Cuban.
Right. That's right.
All right. I love it. So, and we said this, use this time wisely. I think that was great advice at Rafa, to use the time wisely.
You're not
Manage
going to
your
get it back.
expectations. It's going to take a little bit. Things are going to ramp back up. But make sure you're preparing, target effectively, as we talked about that, right, Nikita? Using Sam Radar, selfishly, using Sam Radar, target. Review your competitors. You get a free report. Just if you're a Sam Radar member, paying Sam Radar member, you get free reports. That's what Sally was talking about. She gets free
Absolutely.
reports.
No,
Right?
no, absolutely. Go ahead.
And then be ready to market, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Got to be ready. Keep showing up. And when you look at the force multiplication effect of this today, so at one point I was looking, Dave, and everybody, there were 91 people on here. So if you look at the math of all of us who can refer you and your products and services, share your superpowers with decision makers, influencers, keep coming back. It works.
It does. Absolutely.
Yep.
And if you would like professional help, let us know, because we have a bunch of things that we can do to help you. I want to thank you, Rafael Marrero, for being here, my good buddy. The Cuban, the doctor, the Kentucky Fried Cuban, as we say.
That's right.
That's right. So I appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining us. Sally White, appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
On GovBrief, we got her talking about LinkedIn. We have Todd Crane, who had to vacate the premises because he had to jump, but he does cybersecurity management and CMMC. He helps folks get compliant with CMMC. We have Denise B. Lawrence, who helps with proposal writing as well as for-profit grants.
Hey.
So appreciate you as usual. Nikita's always a rock star. She's going to take my position, and I'm going to gladly give it up.
Hey, Nikita.
I am not kidding. And I'm
Dave Kita. We'll call her Dave Kita.
Dave Kita.
We need Dave. I will say that we need Dave. So
Dave
We
Kita.
do. We do.
Peter Timbus helps with the funding, get through this gap. But I tell you what, those gaps don't stop, do they, Peter?
Nope.
You know, and everyone should always have a backup plan, even if you've got current financing, because there's no cost to get up and running with us to create a file. And I say to people, get a backup plan.
I love it.
Put Peter's info in the chat, and like all the rest of us, he'll do a 15-minute free call with you to go over your
Gotta jump.
wellness.
All right,
Yes,
go
he
ahead,
will.
Ralph. Appreciate you, man.
Yep.
I want
Bye.
to say thanks to Brian Hebel. We beat him up a little bit, but we have fun. He's a good buddy of mine, and appreciate him very much. And we'll see you. Hey, this is new for those of you, even those of you here. This is going to be on Wednesday, November 12th, because Veterans Day is November 11th. So for everybody, it's going to be 11 a.m. We're bumping it by one day. We could either cancel or we could bump it by one day. So we bumped it. So join us at 11 a.m. on the November 12th. I will also be here for the sam.gov tutorial in 1 hour. So if you want to join me for that, please feel free to do so. And then otherwise, we're going to get you guys out of here so we can have we can all get some things done, because I have to get some things done. I can tell you that, right, Denise?
That's right.
All right, guys, really appreciate you. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.